All right. You are now rocking with the best, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the inaugural episode of the And New Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, KD Drummond. I am joined by the rest of the four horsemen, the one and only Mr. Patrick No C Walker, Skywalker Steele, and Josh Rodriguez. We are here to bring you the latest and greatest about everything centered around the WWE, AEW, and a couple other things as we move along. We want to go into a stock up, stock down for what happened in this weekend's electric PLE. We had Money in the Bank going on. And first of all, I want to make sure that everybody is here for every single thing that we do. So make sure that you're tuning in on andnewwrestling.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button, smash that notification so you can get tuned in anytime that we have anything for you guys. We're going to be bringing you a lot of content over the next several months. And make sure you're following us on all social media, on TikTok, on Twitter. It's And New Wrestling. On Instagram, it's And New Wrestling Pod. But again, here we are with our stock up, stock down from this weekend's PLE. We're not going to leave out the NXT, so this is wide open. Pat, give me your stock up, stock down for anything that happened in the PLEs this past weekend.
You know, and there was so much that went on between Money in the Bank and NXT Heat Wave. And, you know, I'm of the mindset that NXT Heat Wave actually blew Money in the Bank out. So that was the better PLE. But my stock up isn't even coming from the PLE. It's coming out of Raw and just the events that built up to yesterday's Raw. It's Liv Morgan stock up. Liv Morgan came back for her revenge tour. And ladies and gentlemen, she's done every single thing she said she was going to do. She said she was going to take everything from Rhea Ripley. First, she took her health. Then she took her belt. Then she basically took her man. Then in the midst of all of that, she basically detonated her faction. She brought Finn Balor and JD McDonough's loyalty to her side. Carlito is kind of teetering there. Damian Priest, he's going to have to answer for the fact that the Judgment Day has fallen apart thanks to Liv Morgan in the absence of Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan is performing promos in the ring in all aspects at the peak of her already very promising career. So for me, stock up is definitely Liv Morgan. Give it to me.
Who's your stock down, though? Who are you a little bit?
You know what? I mentioned him. Yeah. It's going to be Damian Priest for me.
Gotta be.
Damian Priest, the Money in the Bank match, botches aside, although the botch was on him, not on the official. But that goes to my point. Damian Priest, he had a couple of impressive matches to begin his reign as heavyweight champion in the WWE, but it was a lackluster performance against Seth Rollins. And to this point, you wonder if he is, in fact, a transitional champion that simply is running long in the tooth right now. So I feel like you would have preferred to actually see Drew McIntyre get that belt without CM Punk's interference, and they could have found another way to work that Punk versus McIntyre storyline. But I get why they did it that way, because Punk guaranteed that he would never be champion again, so they had to keep Punk's promise. But for me, Damian Priest is definitely stock down, and I'm looking at Gunther taking the belt off him at SummerSlam.
Josh, what about you, man? Who's your stock up, stock down?
Wait, hold on, guys. Yeah, my alarm's going off. Apparently, it's Tiffy time. And my stock up from the jump is Tiffany Stratton. Coming into the women's Money in the Bank ladder match and absolutely bodying every single competitor in her way. And Chelsea Green right there. She's got the pop. She's got the fans in her hands. But Tiffany Stratton does what she does best and out-wrestled every single girl on that roster. You really got to give it to her. I'm excited to see where she goes going forward. She teased a Trish Stratus match on the horizon, maybe SummerSlam, but I really want to see where that goes. Stock down. Patrick, I agree with you. Damian Priest, I don't know what we're doing here. He's shown time and time again he's not really doing what we need from a world heavyweight champion, and does that carry into SummerSlam with an opponent like Gunther, who's going to show who the real wrestler is. Like, you know, and I think at least with Damian Priest, the look is there, the mic skills aren't, the wrestling isn't. We gotta go. Yep. But another stock down, I have to add this as well, is Bron Breakker. What are we doing with Bron Breakker? You set him up to be.
Wait. Are you mad at Bron? Or are you mad at what's happening with him?
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
The booking here. I mean, you give Sami Zayn the W over Braun Breaker, who is just on a tear. And I get it. You don't want an undefeated streak for Breaker. I totally understand that. But I think losing at that PLE, losing at Money in the Bank is a stock down for Braun Breaker. We got to see how Hunter is able to bring up Breaker to a level where he does deserve that belt, just does deserve the mid-card belt, and see where he goes from there. But so far, I was not a fan of that match, of the booking of that match. But we'll have to see how we go.
I got thoughts on that, Josh, but y'all gonna have to tune into episode 1. So take it away, Katie.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I got thoughts on that as well. Yeah. We're not gonna talk crazy about the baby Steiner and get away with it. So yeah,
I love Braun Breaker. He deserves
full
better.
Episode is coming up. So yeah, we'll put a pin in that.
Yeah. We're here for a good time, not a long time right now. So we're gonna go ahead and go to my stock up, stock down. I'm gonna do my stock down first, and my stock down kind of goes along with you guys, but I'm taking it from a different angle. My stock down is CM Punk, because I'm absolutely bored with everything Damian Priest. As you alluded to earlier, he's not good on the mic. He botched. It wasn't even just the botch with getting out of the pinfall. He was off the entire match. I don't like his sells. I don't like his mic work. I don't like anything about that dude being champion. He is a fill-in champ until they find somebody with more riz, as the kids like to call it, that's going to be able to get up in there and actually entertain me. So stock down to CM Punk, because now I have to go through another several weeks of Damian Priest, at least until SummerSlam, when Gunther gets his hand on him. My stock up, I'm going to take this over to the NXT, because I am absolutely enamored. First off, shout out to every single female the entire week, because they outshined the men,
the brand,
every corner. But the number one for me, Sol Ruca. There's no doubt about it in my mind. She's going to be a champion soon. What I saw from her, the way she sells, the way that she has her athleticism, that off the top rope clothesline that she hit Kalani with, like, dude, she's nice. Absolutely on the way up. No doubt about it. By the time we get to 2025, end of 2025, she's absolutely getting drafted. She's on a championship track for the WWE. I don't care where she goes, Raw, SmackDown, whatever. She has championship in her future. So for me, stock up Sol Ruca. Let's go to my man, the other anchor of this thing, Mr. Skywalker Steel. Who's your stock up?
This one might be a shocker to you guys, man, but my stock up is Jacob Fatu in his first real match.
Not necessarily a shocker.
Not a shocker? Okay, I like that then. I'm glad you guys are a little bit on the same train here. Yeah. I thought he impressed so much. I mean, from the word go. He goes in there, he takes the, infamous or famous DDT from Orton, and he sells it first, and then he pops back up, and he's like, nah, I'm a beast. In fact, I'm the Samoan werewolf. And he just continues to kind of unleash some of his moveset. If you go and look at Jacob Fatu's moveset, man, it's wide range. He can do a lot of things. He can move like a locomotive with power, but he has the feet and swiftness of a cruiserweight. And I can't wait until they unleash that full set for Jacob Fatu. Plus, it looked like we might get a Kevin Owens Fatu program at some point. Those guys had a couple stare downs. And if that's the case, I think it's a perfect first guy for him to get kind of a solo program with, because he's a veteran in WWE and he can help him navigate on how they do things on that side. So Jacob Fatu helping the Bloodline get the victory in the 3-on-3 match there. He's my stock up.
And not everyone sells a spike DDT. Not everyone is allowed to do that.
Yeah, the internet went crazy because they said, well, why is he not selling it? Well, he's a Samoan, and they got hard heads. So I thought it worked out. I thought it looked great. I thought it was fantastic. And like you said, not everyone sells Orton's DDT.
No, that's a lore builder right there.
Yeah. And then stock down, Chad Gable. For so many different reasons, man. I had, you guys said, what are we doing with Breaker? Well, what are we doing with Gable? I thought Gable, he had a great program on the way with the Alpha Academy split, him and Otis. I felt like if they just kept at that, maybe they prolonged it a little bit more, because the pop was crazy when Otis flipped on Chad, and then they could have went to that program. Okay. They didn't decide to do that. They went ahead with the Sami Zayn, Chad Gable. They had great chemistry, by the way. I thought that could have been a trilogy type of situation. Instead, he loses and he never really gets another chance. And out of nowhere, as this Alpha Academy thing is going on. The Wyatt Six is after Chad Gable for reasons we don't know. I like the Wyatt Six. I don't understand why they're going after a guy who was starting to gain momentum. And then we kind of we're getting teased this Creed brother thing. I don't know what's happening here. Chad Gable did the best he could do. He only got one moment in the Money in the Bank match. I thought he was not going to get any moments, but they all got their moment. And then he obviously loses. And now we're sitting here wondering what's going on with Chad. So his stock is all the way down, in my opinion. We'll see what happens if he gets in the program with the Creed brothers.
I like that, and we'll definitely go into that because I want to talk more on that in the full episode that we're about to record after this one. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
But I mean, when it comes to Gable, let's just put it this way before we even segue to that one, or use it as a segue to the full episode. His hand is in too many jars at the same time. And it was the same thing.
He's kind of like the easy heel right now.
Yeah,
right?
it was the same thing that
afflicted.
It's the same thing that afflicted Drew McIntyre before they got him on the right track.
Yeah. Less is more.
All right, so that's what we're gonna. So that gives us a lot to talk about in the next episode and future episodes. Because I personally, while you were talking, still, I just couldn't wait to see Jacob Fatu versus Bron Breakker once they bring both of them along. The athleticism out of those two big men is something that I cannot wait to see. We are here for you on the regular basis, and newwrestling.com. Again, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, it's And New Wrestling Pod, and of course on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button, hit the notification so you don't miss any episode. We will be back with more and more content, and I'm saying more, MOAR, the real internet more. We got everything for you. You know what it is. We're out of here. Salute.
And